Okay, I'm Bill O'Loughlin. I first came in contact with the VAC in, I think it was January of 1985, when the first public meeting was held to kick off the support program. And I went along to that because 3 or 4 months previously I'd been diagnosed with HIV. So I wanted to do something before it killed me, basically.
My name is David Menadue. I have been involved with the AIDS Council really since its inception, although I really became much more involved in 1988 when I was starting to get sick and felt, I could help some of my fellow positive people a bit more by contributing directly to the governance of the organisation.
My name's Tony Keane, and I'm been long involved in VAC, I think, sort of since the late 80s. In a lot of roles as a volunteer. I did actually work here for 4 weeks on a project, but most of my time at VAC spent as a volunteer.
My name is Louise Norton-Smith. I'm a volunteer with the Victorian AIDS Council, have been for many years. I volunteer 2 days a week. And I work mainly in the reception, admin, strategy support part of the organisation, which means many things to many people.
My name is Kevin Guiney. My first connection with the Victorian AIDS Council was I was in the process of trying to be dismissed from a job because I was HIV positive, and a friend who was a nurse recommended that I contact the Victorian AIDS Council to come with me to the Equal Opportunities Commission hearing.
My name's Ian Foote. How I got involved with the VAC, actually it was before the VAC. A friend said, there's a meeting at the YWCA tonight, will you come and help pour out tea and hand out scones? I thought, oh, well, I may as well. So there would be about, I'd say, well over 200 people there. And they were talking about this new illness.
My name's Colin George Batruni. My connection with the organisation started around about 1985. I was a volunteer with the organisation, and I designed a sticker that went on to urinals in metropolitan Melbourne venues. It said, AIDS is real, use condoms. And the other one said, come on me, not in me. So I was responsible for those early designs, and here I am, all these years later, as the Director of Health Promotion Policy and Communications.
I'm Bruce Parnell. I was a volunteer studying community development, and they advertised for the first education job in the AIDS Council, and I think it was called the AIDS Council and Gay Men's Health Centre. So I became one of the first gay professionals in the country, and I was from about 1985 till 1992 the education manager.
Gradually, there were situations where things got organised. As I said, we had no money. I spent a number of Sunday evenings down at a pub in St Kilda, the Prince of Wales. There was, I think it was a drag show there every Sunday night, and so I had a big can and was going around collecting money, which a lot of people were not very willing. I have to say, I think it was an element of denial with a lot of gay men in those days. The gay women were very, very generous. So after that, I got involved. Outrage magazine had offered us the use of an office at their building, I think King William Street in Fitzroy. So one of the first education groups started off there, and that I think was a very important time.
The previous experience that people had that came in that were the leadership of the AIDS Council was tremendously important. So you had the core kind of organisers had a background in student politics in the 1970s, in the gay liberation movement, in the trade union movement, and so they were very savvy with how to organise, how to convey a political point in the public arena, how to use the media, how to engage with the community. And all of those skills were brought into the very early days of the AIDS Council. And it was important on two levels. One was because on the broader spectrum in Australia, HIV was an incredibly controversial issue, and hence it was very political. And there were some quite extreme calls for very reactive ways of dealing with particularly gay men at the time. And so the leaders of the AIDS Council needed to plan and execute a very sophisticated public political campaign that involved politicians, health departments, doctors, etc. And they did that superbly. But they also knew about the importance of mobilising the community, and also that was done superbly.
What we saw, I think, was a great example in the AIDS movement and the AIDS Council of the building of community capacity and harnessing of community capacity. And what you saw was a whole heap of individuals from varying different backgrounds, very different values, very different political persuasions, coming together over a common issue. And that created quite a powerful organisation and a powerful community movement.